on his show with Charlize Theron, and she did a lot of these things these SJWs do, where it's like it's okay to make fun of men but not make fun of women. And she called out Steven Seagal for being fat and saying he can't fight and all of his fights are fake and women are the way to go. And what do you think of the hypocrisy of the fat shaming, especially with a senior citizen like Steven Seagal is right now? And his martial arts actually is legit because he actually trained some UFC fighters, you know?
Yeah, right. Okay. There's a lot to be said about that. But as far as like Sensei Seagal goes, um, you know, he has it's in some ways kind of a what goes around comes around, because you can go and you can Google Steven Seagal from the time he first came on the scene and did like an interview on the Arsenio Hall show, and Arsenio was asking him about other martial artists like Jean-Claude Van Damme and stuff like that, and he always has a way of really disparaging all other martial arts stars, whoever it is, whether it's Bruce Lee, it doesn't matter. Like the way he talks about people is like they're all trash and none of them are real, you know. And then the stuff that like he's talking about training these UFC fighters about doing that front kick when this dude probably can't kick higher than his own kneecap is just real suspect. I mean, it was a fucking front kick. And I think that like Anderson Silva and Lyoto Machida were good sports and just kind of went along with it.
But they didn't have to, like Anderson Silva, who's a very popular UFC fighter. He won a fight with a kick that Seagal taught
No,
him.
no.
At the end of the fight, he didn't have to say, "Thank you, Steven Seagal, for teaching me that front kick. That was the reason I won this fight."
Here we go.
Like he bowed. He was like, "Sensei, thank you."
Oh,
he gave praise to Seagal.
And where did he go after that? Like I never saw him around either one of them after those two fights. I mean, that was.
I didn't see him around Steven Seagal after that fight. So coincidence? Maybe. Maybe he should have stuck with Seagal.
Bullshit, maybe too. I mean, like I don't think Seagal taught and could teach Anderson Silva anything about martial arts. When you look at clips, and this is what Charlize Theron was saying, you look at clips of him, it's just him like walking in a straight line, and people are just flying in every direction. there's nothing there. I mean, he's literally just pushing people, and these guys are flying. I mean, they're like fucking backflipping and cartwheeling, and he's just basically touching people, and they're fucking going like 20 feet in different directions. I mean,
that's
like,
how powerful he is, though.
Yeah. There is truth to Steven Seagal at some point in his life, having lived in Japan and having studied Aikido, which is a bullshit martial art that has just nothing practical about it. But he was into Aikido, and I guess did receive a black belt in Aikido living in Japan. There's no doubt about that. That at one point he probably was a competent Bullshido. Aikido fighter. But now it's like he's a caricature, and he is very disparaging towards other martial artists, and like I think that's what bothers people. And when Charlize Theron comes and says stuff about him, I don't think a true martial artist would never let themselves sort of degenerate into a fat mess. You live that lifestyle. You stay in shape. You stay fit. I mean, look at Chuck Norris. I mean, he's probably 90 years old, and he's still in good shape, and he's still, he still looks like a somewhat of an athlete. And then this guy, Steven Seagal, he goes out there and he disparages Chuck Norris, who was a widely respected martial artist. I mean, he is he's a very arrogant, cocky, egotistical individual. And I mean, it's not surprising that I think Charlize Theron, who I'm no fan of, is sort of trashing this guy because he has been accused of I don't think you brought this up. I think you conveniently left this out, but he's been accused of
Why are we changing the subject? We're talking about fat shaming. Like, why do we need to bring up anything else?
the fact he's been accused of sexual
Fat
assault.
shaming? Fat shaming is what we're talking about. That is the subject matter
Instead of
of
several
this
movies.
topic.
Yeah,
We're talking about fat shaming.
Okay, yeah. He's the victim, right?
Of
Yeah,
course he is.
And I think that's why Charlize Theron is attacking him in such an intense way, because he being accused of sexual assault, and she's coming back at him over that, and him being this fat mess that he's become. So, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's funny. Like, I haven't seen like a lot of his movies since like this first like 3 or 4 that really made it big. But from what I've heard, like he uses stunt doubles for wide shots for like running or any kind of physical activity. They'll just go super wide and use stunt doubles. So
at this point, sure. I mean, I think that like he was somewhat of a competent actor in his movies right up until like I think it was like I think he did Under Siege or Fire Down Below. Yeah, I think he went maybe 6 or 7 movies, and then at that point he was just so out of shape and unrealistic looking that the body doubles probably came right in.
yeah, he's made a lot of movies, but like we were saying, the 3 title movies were the real ones that really got him off.
No,
Above the Law, Hard to Kill.
I mean, listen, I would say this: Above the Law is a very legit martial arts movie. He did some really legit stuff, a lot of hand locks and different things in that movie that were legit. Like that by most people would say that that is a legit martial arts movie, and the techniques and the things that he did were very authentic. Anybody would say that. Hard to Kill, another good movie. I like it. Marked for Death, I like a lot. I mean, not very nice towards the Rastafarians, and kind of portrayed them in a very negative way. But I do like Marked for Death. Out for Justice, I like a lot. He that was probably one of he's very mean spirited in that movie, and I kind of like that aspect of him. Was good. Under Siege, where he plays the cook on the boat. Again, it's a pretty legit movie. On Deadly Ground, I think it's a little bit of a slippage on that one. I think that's the one where he was like a forest fighter, like a ranger fighting a forest fire or something like that, which I thought was like, that's okay. It's okay. Under Siege 2, didn't really care for that at all. I really didn't care for that. Executive Decision, I don't think I've ever seen that one. The Glimmer Man, I don't think I've ever seen it. And
I think Executive Decision was the one where he died early on in the movie, and it was like a subversion. And then I think like Kurt Russell or something was the main character. And then
right.
And Glimmer Man, I think that was the one where he co-starred with the Wayne brothers. Yeah, Kurt Russell was the main star in Executive Decision.
Okay.
I remember it was a big deal at the time because everyone was expecting like Seagal to be the hero. And Glimmer Man was made with Keenan Ivory Wayans, and it was like a buddy cop comedy type
didn't really
thing.
see that. I mean, so the last one I saw from him was Fire Down Below. That was probably the last one I saw. I think after that, his movies just get real, like, just real.
Then after that, he did a bunch of ones with rappers. I think Exit Wounds had DMX. Half Past Dead had that short rapper. What's his name? Yeah, he's right there on the cover. What the hell is his name?
Ja was in
Ja. So he started doing movies with rappers, and then it just progressively, his output just started declining and declining and declining. So, but yeah, I'm surprised to hear you're a feminist now. So I thought you were a man, but clearly you're on Charlize Theron's side here. Got to rethink things with you, man. Got to rethink things. Yeah, just so you guys know, Aswad dropped out. The last thing you heard was me calling him a feminist. And after that, he dropped off the call. Then he called me personally. We talked on the phone for about 2 hours, and he would like me to make a formal apology. Aswad, I'm sorry. I will learn and do better. I understand that my ways are flawed, and I respect your feminist stance, and
Right.
I will try to not be as offensive and misogynistic in the future. Okay.
Good. Thank
Okay.
you. And I also like to plug. It looks like on Seagal's filmography that he's coming out with Above the Law Part Two. So it looks like we got to plug that movie too. It's coming out next year.
Wow. Wow. Much
Yeah.
like when you wear a tampon, you have to plug your vagina.
Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to be nice to you, man. I'm trying to be
Hey
oh my
man,
god.
I didn't know you were a feminist, man. I didn't know. Like the more you know, right?